Hi girlies, we are yapping about books yet again, but this time we are talking about all the books I've read in the past 2 or 3 months. As always, I've been too ambitious and I thought I could read more than I did. Though that being said, I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 books, 3 of which are really fat books. First we have Nocticadia by Carrie Lake. This is a dark gothic romance with a little bit of mystery. It's a student-professor romance, and the thing is, I really enjoyed this book. At first, the vibes were very unique. You definitely could feel that dark academia style, and it was really eerie, and I was just there. The writing style was great. I could understand the main character and her struggles. So this is about Lilia, whose mother died due to a mysterious disease no one knows about, and she has been led to believe that she imagined all her mother's weird symptoms. But then in school, one of her essays about her mother's condition sparks the attention of a professor that helps her attend this very prestigious university called Nocticadia. I feel like that's the setting in the beginning. And then at Nocticadia, she figures out more about her past and her mother, while also falling in love with her professor, who is a very morally gray, dark, mysterious man. This was an absolute 5-star up until here. Yeah, so most of the book was an absolute 5-star. But then I got to their age gap and their, let's call it, sexual dynamic, okay? And once I realized that she was like 19 years old and he was about 30-something, I was a bit taken aback because that is a big age gap and it got a little bit icky for me. So I skimmed through the last part of the book. I do believe that this is a book that a lot of people might enjoy. I don't really have much to complain apart from the ick I got from it, you know? Also, the spice is very graphic and very descriptive, which is not my cup of tea. I feel like this is a 4-star read maybe? Dance of Thieves is the only book I DNF'd. The reason for that is that it was just too much for me. The world building was a bit suffocating at times, and I was just trapped in figuring out what the heck is going on because I was bombarded with information. And that's also because before this book, you have another series that delves deeper into the world so that you kind of understand what's going on when you pick this up. Well, I didn't read the other books, so that might be my issue, but we've read this as part of our book club, which you can join through the link in the description, and a lot of book club members also mentioned that this was quite hard to grasp. This is about Cassie, an assassin that's part of the Queen's Guard, and she's on a mission to find this really evil dude, basically. And she encounters another ruler of this other place that's in the middle of kingdoms, and well, they get trapped together, let's say. They find themselves in a situation where they need to help each other to survive. And after that, she gets even more tangled with him. After the first few chapters, I got really engaged in the book. I was intrigued, like, oh my god, I love how they work together. I love their connection. I love all that. But after the certain situation in which they were basically trapped together finished, we got back to a lot of world building and a lot of waiting, and the pacing slowed back down, and I didn't really enjoy it. This was the type of book that if I would set it down, I just didn't want to pick it up again. This could definitely be a 5-star read for a lot of people, but I would give it a 3-star. Like, I didn't hate reading it, but I was just not that into it. This resembles more a high fantasy than a romantasy. I've read 5 Survive pretty recently, and this was also part of book club. We picked a thriller for the second month of our book club, and 5 Survive just hit the spot for me. I needed a thriller like I needed air. Honestly, this was such a good thriller. It's about 6 friends that get trapped in an IV in the middle of nowhere while being hunted by a sniper. We have Red as the main character. I think she's a 17-year-old girl. I'm not sure about her age. She has some issues from her past, and those play a very big role in the story. I don't really want to tell you anything else. This is the type of thriller that is fast-paced. You just need to get through it and find out what's going to happen. A lot of plot twists. Holly Jackson has this way of portraying characters in a very specific manner, in the sense that all the characters in the book are portrayed so vividly during their high-stakes situation. You can see them changing. You can see their temperament and their personality brought to light by the situation they find themselves in. There are a lot of secrets, and Even the ending is a little bit mysterious, so I definitely recommend this. As my very first Holly Jackson book, I can say that I'm gonna read more of her books. If you've also haven't read any of her books before, the style is quite similar to The Naturals and to how Jennifer Lynn Barnes writes her books, but this feels even more snappy and thrillery, let's say. So yeah, 5 stars. Girlies, I know that we mostly talk about fiction on this channel, but I do have a nonfiction here with me, which I love. This is the Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson, which is this guy right here. I'm pretty sure you know him. This basically goes through everything about space in a really tiny format. It starts from the Big Bang, and Neil deGrasse Tyson explains everything that happens throughout time up until, well, more or less present time. He goes through the first elements that were in space and how they were used and what they did. It's a very interesting book that takes you from the beginning and makes you understand how the universe works, basically. I loved the very first chapter. Even the very first paragraph was written so well, but then the next chapters were like, I was not sure about it, because he had a note explaining what light years mean, but then he talked about things that would imply you already know that. So there were moments in the book where I didn't really understand everything, especially when it comes to the spectrum of light. I find it very difficult to grasp the fact that gamma rays and ultraviolet and like microwaves are part of the light spectrum, and this helped me grasp that concept better. If you're into space and astrophysics, I would definitely give this a try. This is a 5-star read. I don't know why I wouldn't give it a 5-star, because it was really engaging and I was really curious to find out everything that he had to say in the book. So I definitely recommend this. Know me, I am a die-hard Ellie Hazelwood fan, and I will forever be one. This is her only non-spicy book, so if you want to give Ellie Hazelwood a try but you're not in for the spice, you need to pick up Chicken Mate. This is about Mallory, a young girl that knows how to play chess really freaking well. But because of her past, she swears she's not going to play the game again. But her friend sort of forced her hand and enrolled her in a charity championship. And that's where she meets the very best chess player, who's the love interest. I'm just gonna stop right there and let you discover the book. This is obviously giggly like all Ellie Hazelwood books. We have closed-door romance. It's just, you know, it's her style. You will get the MMC that confesses their love and they are just head over heels over the FMC, but they are also nonchalant in a way. I'd say this is very typical of Ellie Hazelwood, but that's just what makes her books so comforting. This is definitely a comfort read for me, and I would recommend it. It's a 5-star read for sure. We have to talk about the gigantic books. We have Boys of Tommen here, the first 3 books. I picked up Binding 13 because I was in an awful reading slump. Nothing could have saved me but this book. This was gold in my hands. I never thought that a 700-page book would keep me focused and get me out of a reading slump. This is not your typical high school romance. I am usually down for college romance. I don't really like high school romance, but this is just something else. Book 1 and 2 follow Shannon Lynch and Johnny Kavanaugh. We have Shannon that's part of this absolutely terrible family. It's excruciatingly painful to read about her situation. I don't want to say anything else apart from the fact that this is deeper than you expect and more heartbreaking than you think, and it can be triggering for a lot of people. So her home situation is terrible and she is very anxious. She finds herself in a new school having to fight her demons, let's say, but then she gets hit by a football, and that's how she met Johnny Kavanaugh, basically. I honestly feel like I cannot do this series justice and tell you what it is about, because you just need to experience it. If you haven't read this, I'm jealous of you. You need to pick it up. It will forever alter your brain chemistry. It is definitely one of my favorite series. Book 1 was definitely a 5-star. I'd say book 2 was a 6-star, honestly, because this delves even deeper into the very, very messed up situation that is Shannon's life. So I'd say this is a 6-star, this is a 5-star, and this one is my favorite. This follows Joey Lynch, Shannon's brother, and his love interest, Aoife. This is even more darker than Keeping 13. Much darker, because Joey's life is so damn heartbreaking. It's like, oh my god, I cannot explain how this book made me feel, and understanding what Joey went through when I heard of him in the other books, right? But I couldn't understand what he was actually going through. I connected with Joey and Aoife a little bit more than I did Johnny and Shannon. That being said, I love all of the books. You will hear about very disturbing and sensitive topics in this book, so be aware this can be triggering, but I've never read a book like this one. And what I'm expecting is my soul to be literally crushed in the next book, which I'm gonna read immediately after finishing this video. So yeah, I don't know, 6 stars, basically. Yeah, 6 stars. Girlies, I am begging you, if you haven't read Binding 13, this is your time to pick the series up. It is worth it. That's why everyone is crazy about it, because it's worth it. You gotta read it. After I finished filming the video, I realized that I completely forgot to talk about Villains Are Destined to Die, which is another book that I've read in the past few months. So this is about a girl that gets trapped in a video game, basically, and she is trapped in the body of the villain, the villainess, let's say, and she needs to raise the affection points of the love interests, but she is on hard mode of the game, so everyone's affection meter is really low and she can get killed at any point. I wouldn't get only this book and read it because it doesn't have a finality to it. It's like part 1, but really actually part 1. You need to read book 2 to actually find out what's going to happen, because you don't get to find out in book 1, which is a little bit annoying, I'll give it that. But this was such a nice read. It was not difficult to go through, it was really easy to follow. It was quite a snappy writing style, but at the same time, the pace wasn't too fast. Sometimes I enjoy a very fast-paced book, but other times I just like to go with it if it's interesting enough to keep me hooked. I don't mind if I'm not bombarded with different things happening at the same time. Some might say that not a lot of things happen in the book, which I agree to a certain degree, but you go through all the love interests and how the main character finds them and gets to know them and understand who's dangerous and who would get her most likely killed, and how she needs to go about the situation so she can return to her life. I really enjoyed this book. This was a 5-star read. There's also a manhwa that's very popular, so you can also read that if you want. I would definitely recommend this if you are into the trapped into a video game type trope. I really love that trope, and if you do, you definitely enjoy this book. And I also have 2 anime recommendations for you if you like this trope. First is Sword Art Online. I loved the first 2 seasons, and you also have Solo Leveling, which is a little bit different but still has that vibe, you know? You still get trapped in a video game type sort of thing. This was the wrap up of the books I've read in the past months. I really hope it's going to be better in the months to come. I've been in and out of a reading slump since the beginning of the year, and I'm finally feeling steady in my reading journey, let's say. So I am really expecting to read more from now on. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe.